Yo, what is up guys? This is Pedro here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Washington football team possibly being interested in signing former Panthers GM Marty Hurney as their new general manager, and I'll talk about some other potential candidates for the Washington football team's GM job, and talk about the likelihood of Kyle Smith being GM and remaining with Washington for the future. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about Washington signing linebacker Michael Kendricks. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So earlier today, it was reported that the Panthers were going to fire Marty Hurney, who was their GM, and then after that, a bunch of national reporters reported that the Washington football team would be one possible landing spot for Marty Hurney. I'll read this right here from Ian Rappaport. He said, "One side note for the Panthers moving on from Marty Hurney now, he'll be a candidate to take over in Washington, assuming they open up their GM job alongside Ron Rivera. This gives him a head start as well." So I know a lot of Washington fans do not want to hear that because we all absolutely love Kyle Smith, and I'll have a video on Kyle Smith and why we need to retain him in a bit. But you know, Kyle Smith has done a really good job here, especially in the scouting department. The thing with Ron Rivera, and I've heard this from a lot of different people and sources, is that Ron Rivera wants a guy that he can trust as his GM, and nothing against Kyle Smith, Ron Rivera is saying, but he just hasn't been working with Kyle Smith long enough, I guess, to trust him. And Marty Hurney, he worked with Marty Hurney a long time in Carolina, so I guess he trusts him enough. If obviously, we'll see what ends up happening. There's also some other candidates, and I'll read this right here. This was reported from Albert Breer. He said, "Washington is very pleased with the work of Ron Rivera to the point where if the Washington football team does hire a GM, and I think they probably will, I'm told that search would be led by Rivera. If it happens, I'd expect ex-Lions GM Martin Mayhew, who shares an agent with Rivera, to be in the running, as well as former Panthers personnel man Ryan Cowden, and also Rick Smith is in contention, and then obviously now that Marty Hurney got fired, he's probably the front runner." And then he also tweeted out, "To be clear, I do believe Washington values Kyle Smith, and I think they'd interview him for the job, and I think they also like the idea of pairing him with a more experienced GM." So that's what he says, and that's pretty much what I was getting at, is that Ron Rivera likes Kyle Smith and values what he does, but he wants someone who he can trust. And maybe if they delay this a little bit and let Kyle Smith run another draft, run another free agency, and pretty much a whole offseason, maybe Ron Rivera will promote Kyle Smith. I hope he does that, because I just really think Kyle Smith is a great talent evaluator, not only in the draft, but him and his scouts helped get these guys like Logan Thomas, Ronald Darby, J.D. McKissick, that have really helped us out a lot this year. So I don't think letting Kyle Smith go is a good idea. And here's what I'll say. I don't think Kyle Smith would get a job immediately this year, just because I think once a team that, you know, has some connections to Kyle Smith, the Rams, the Packers, the 49ers, any of those teams, maybe even the Titans, once any of those teams have openings, I think they would jump on him right away. But I don't know. We'll see. I think we need to try to retain him. Here's some of the Marty Hurney's draft picks in the past. So I think he was their GM from 2002 to 2012. He drafted Julius Peppers. He actually does a really good job hitting on the first round picks, but he's not that great of a late round guy. Look at some more of his picks. You know, like I said, Julius Peppers, great player. Thomas Davis, great player. D'Angelo Williams, but he's also not that great in terms of, you know, his cap. Ryan Khalil, Jonathan Stewart, but, you know, nothing amazing. I mean, his late rounds, like I said, just aren't that great. 2011 Cam Newton, and then Luke Kuechly, and then I think he got fired, or I don't know what happened with him, and then Dave Gettleman took over, and in 2018 he got DJ Moore, 2019 Julius Peppers. He also helped get Christian McCaffrey and Brian Burns. So his first round picks aren't bad, but I mean, Kyle Smith has been a late round mastermind, getting a lot of these really good players in the late rounds, and I think it would not be a good idea to let him go. And I think that's one of the things that Washington fans don't agree on much, but I think they can definitely agree that we should keep Kyle Smith and definitely definitely consider promoting him to GM. We'll see. This is going to happen this offseason. We're going to find out what happens if Kyle Smith is promoted to GM or if they move on in a different direction. And it could be something like Ron Rivera hires a GM for a year or two and lets Kyle Smith develop a little bit more and then promotes him, but by then it might be a little bit too late and Kyle Smith might already have a job somewhere else. So hopefully Ron Rivera sees that Kyle Smith has had a great draft. I mean, obviously Chase Young's great, but got Antonio Gibson. The 4th round picks really haven't hit yet, but that's really due to injury, and they didn't really have an injury history in college, so not Kyle Smith's fault at all. 5th round pick Khaleke Hudson's looked solid, and then 7th round picks James Smith-Williams and Cameron Curl both have exceeded expectations. So, I think that and also, of course, Jimmy Moreland, he drafted Kelvin Harmon, helped with Cole Holcomb. I know that was partly a Jay Gruden pick, but still. And so that's it on, Kyle Smith / Marty Hurney, and then also, of course, Rick Smith. Now let's get into us signing linebacker Michael Kendricks off the Seahawks practice squad. So this was reported by Tom Pelissero earlier today. And, Michael Kendricks is a solid linebacker. I think he has over 90 starts in the NFL. So a very good veteran linebacker to bring on the squad. And I think hopefully this is to add depth due to the injuries we have. Hopefully it's not telling us that, Cole Holcomb and KPL are more than a week away. It also could be, those guys are banged up. Plus Sean Dion Hamilton, one of our top 4 linebackers, he also got hurt. So 3 of our 4 linebackers are banged up. So they're going to sign him. So hopefully, if Sean Dion Hamilton can't play and maybe KPL can't play, you got some depth at that position, and he will be able to play this Sunday. So that is good news. And, he's a veteran in the NFL, good tackler and solid speed. So, and, he's still been in shape. It's not like he isn't in the NFL. He's just not on an active roster, but was on the Seahawks roster. So we'll see what happens with him. Let me know what you guys think about the Michael Kendricks signing. I think it's good depth, and it's good that we signed him today so we can get him on the active roster on Sunday. And maybe this move, because we're going to have to make a move, because since we're signing someone's going to have to get off the roster, so that might be someone being put on IR. So look for that today. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole Marty Hurney situation. I just don't, I know Ron Rivera wants someone that he trusts, but I think, Kyle Smith has been doing a good job for us. He's been in the organization for 10 plus years. And he also is the son of, I think, Rick Smith, who was Ron Rivera's GM in San Diego. So that's just my take on it. And I'll have a video on Kyle Smith and what he has done for this organization in the last couple years. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. And today, 7 p.m., I will be dropping my Pro Bowl video reacting to which Washington football team players make the Pro Bowl. And hey, a sneak peek preview, Chase Young has made it.